Yo, what's going on, everybody? Isaac Mashman here, and welcome to another episode of Chase the Vision with Isaac Mashman, the podcast, the show that is all about helping you become a more capable individual and therefore better chase after your vision. See, I am a firm and huge believer in personal growth and personal development. That is the number one way that you cut time frames. That is the number one way that you grow. You learn shortcuts to success, and you are just able to save yourself a ton of time. Face it, guys, why would you want to make the same mistakes that other people have already made? The genius learns from the mistakes of others, and the fool just doesn't learn at all. So guys, this is the podcast where I share all of my experiences, my knowledge, and just anything that I have learned along the way that I think would provide you with value and that I think would prove beneficial to your growth as an individual, as a businessman, as a business owner, as a woman, as, honestly, anybody. That is what this show is about. So welcome back to another episode. Before I talk about what I am discussing in this episode particularly, I do ask a favor of you. And I do this for every single episode. If you've been listening for any amount of time, you already know what I'm about to ask you to do, and that is share this episode with a friend of yours. Guys, I'm not running advertisements. I'm not promoting some crazy Shopify course. I'm not promoting my ebook. I'm not promoting any of this, and I'm not running advertisements for other people. The only plug that you're ever going to hear from me is an occasional plug for my services, or in the future, whenever I do design some digital products, I might throw in a plug for myself, but I'm not wasting your time talking about some crappy drop-shipped product that was imported from China that costs 30 cents to make and that they're selling for $30. Like, I'm not about to do that to you guys. I respect you too much. I respect my brand too much. I respect your time too much. And honestly, I think that we're better than that, right? So guys, by not offering these advertisements, I am missing out on money that I could otherwise put towards marketing the show. So the number one way that this is going to grow and that we're going to be able to climb the charts and that we're going to be able to help more people and get a larger listening audience is through word of mouth. That is the number one most powerful form of marketing, because you are able to tell somebody who already knows, likes, and trusts you about something, and they are more likely to actually take action because of your relationship. So share this episode, and for every episode that you listen to, guys, if you get value, share it with a friend, post it on your story and say, yo, you got to check this episode out. I learned so much information. Like, be genuine, be yourself. But today I am discussing perception, the way you perceive reality, the way you perceive the situation that you are in. And I think that 2020 is a fantastic example of why your perception is super important when it comes to your life in general, not just in business, not just pertaining to success, not just pertaining to your goals, but just your well-being in general. You could perceive everything that is going on as the worst thing that could possibly happen. You could look at COVID and the coronavirus and the pandemic and look at that as being like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. I'm stressing. I'm going to go outside. I'm going to catch it. I'm going to die. And I hate to be blunt, but I would much rather be blunt than just try to be, very vague and not transparent. But guys, you could have that perception and really perceive this as the Spanish flu that killed 50 million people, or you could perceive this as something that, okay, I need to exercise some more caution, but as long as I pay attention to the precautions and I'm smart about what I do, I stay clean, it's okay. It's given a little bit of a speed bump in my journey, in my progress, and in my normal life, but I'm not going to let it, break me down. I'm not going to let it stop me in my life, in my growth, in my journey, in my process. I remember hearing an audio, or it wasn't an audio, it was actually a YouTube video from one of the mentors who I was studying at the time, and he was discussing how he was throwing a fundraiser at Christmas for, I believe it was like a children's hospital or like a cancer fund or something like that. And it was the first ever charity event that they were throwing at this really nice hotel. And this guy, he's a successful mentor. He's a successful guy, a businessman. He's made millions of dollars. He was driving a Rolls Royce, and he didn't even park the car. He gave the keys to the valet, right? And the valet went and parked his Rolls Royce, and the mentor went inside. He sat down and he was talking to different people. The charity event was going underway. People were discussing, people were talking, they're eating, they're serving food, and a really nice hotel. And next thing you know, somebody from the hotel staff comes up to him and he approaches him and he's like, David, your Rolls Royce is gone. It's stolen. Somebody stole your Rolls Royce. What happened is the valet didn't lock the valet box, and somebody went in, grabbed the key, and drove off. And see, David had one of two options. He could have freaked out. He could have gone crazy. He had been like, oh my God, somebody is driving my $400,000 car. I'm at a charity event. What the hell? Like, this is horrible. Or the alternative was, okay, well, my Rolls Royce is stolen right now. Somebody is in it. Somebody is driving it. But I am at this charity event. I have to stay focused on why I am even throwing this event, which is to help other people. And at the end of the day, Rolls Royce has tracking. I'm going to get my car back. It's not like everybody is driving a Rolls Royce like they're driving a Toyota Camry. And he kept and focused in on that second perception of his situation. He perceived it as something that wasn't necessarily bad. It wasn't something that was good. It was just there in existence. It was there. It was happening, and he was going to do everything in his power to control it, but he wasn't going to stress about the things that he couldn't control. So he went and got on the phone with Rolls-Royce, got on the phone with the cops. They were able to track the car, and he got it back an hour later. Now imagine if he would freak out. Imagine if he would have just went crazy, and he would have been on the phone with the police. He would have been just tripping and stressing. He would have got the car back most likely, because it's a Rolls Royce. It's not a common car, and they do have the tracking. But he would have stressed himself out. The energy, the vibration that he would have put himself in would have been such an energy of stress and negativity. It wouldn't have allowed him to focus on the main event of that night, which is the charity. Right? He would have went in to give a speech, and he would have been sweating. He would have been tripping out. He would have been, shaking, holding the microphone. He wouldn't have been able to even focus on giving a speech or talking to the people who were, going to be donating to the fund and donating to the charity. That would have had serious consequences, and that would have meant that he wouldn't have wanted to throw a second charity event the following year. He wanted to do it on an annual basis. But because he had that perception of reality, and because he controlled how he reacted, he was able to not only get his car back, he was staying in a very equal playing vibration, and afterwards he had a great charity event, and he's planning on doing a second one. See, that is just one example that stood out in my mind, because I'm like, wow, that's kind of crazy. It's like, imagine if you lose your wallet or you lose your phone. You could go crazy and absolutely raise your vibration in a negative way, or you could go ahead and focus on the things that you could, control. It's the same exact thing when it comes to relationship. It's the same exact thing that when it comes to talking with family members and trying to share your business opportunity with them, or trying to share what you do, and you're trying to convince them of things that you can't convince them on. If somebody is already closed off to hearing about your journey, or if because you did not go to college, they're already going to call you a dropout and a failure at life, you can't control them, and you can't change their mind. There are just certain things that you have to let other people do, feel, and think. You have to control how you feel, do, and think. That's what it is. For example, in relationships, there's something called codependency, where basically you're trying to fix everybody else. You're trying to fix your significant other. You're trying to, make their problems your problems in a way that is unhealthy. In a relationship, it's good to, try to go about the other person's problems in a healthy manner, but when you take the entirety of their problem and the entirety of their weight onto your own shoulders, you are weighing yourself down, which is preventing you from actually moving forward and doing the things that you need to do in life to better work towards your goals and achieve your vision, and to just live a happy and fulfilled life. It's great to care about other people, but you also have to be aware that, I'm not the Mr. Fix-It-All. Like I'm not the general handyman that you see around, the neighborhood that drives a truck and has a tool bag and goes in and he does a little bit of plumbing, he does the yard work, he does general maintenance, like he does the sewage, he does the electricity. No, you are not the general maintenance man. You are the person who is the expert in your own life. You are the expert in your own field, or in your own craft, or in your own passion, and that is your focus. That is where you need to devote your energy to. You see, with all of this craziness on social media, especially with the news media, I'm not getting into politics in this episode, but you have a very biased perception of reality, and a biased perception of what is really going on based off of the news media. You turn on CNN, you're going to get one perception of reality. You go and you turn on Fox News, you're going to get an entirely different perception. But the way you perceive life should always be in an unbiased standpoint, or viewpoint rather, an unbiased perspective, and it should be in a perspective to where you are able to be rational. You are able to actually use logic and facts. That's why the duopoly that we have in politics right now with Democrats and Republicans is basically preventing the country from being able to progress forward or to make progress, simply because you have people with one perception and then you have people with another perception, and we're lacking that middle ground. We're lacking the ability for somebody to come in, view it with a logical perception, set aside egos, and actually make and get things done. That's the same exact way in life, in business. Are you viewing this with logical eyes, or are you viewing this with emotional eyes? You have to have that control. You have to have that self-awareness to even understand when you are taking a situation and blowing it up out of proportions to what it really is. Has there ever been an event in your life or a difficult time that you're going through and you think it is the fucking end of the world? You think that the sky is falling, Chicken Little running around, and you're just going crazy. You're running through scenarios in your mind, and then an hour later or 2 hours later, it's like, oh, wow, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. That's because you let your emotions get the best of you and you were not able to let your logical side win. Now, we're emotional human beings. Don't get me wrong. Like, there are going to be times where it might be a little bit more difficult to control our emotions, but at the same time, focus on what is important and focus on what you can control. And if you focus on what you can control in your life, and then you actually write out a list, or you pay attention to what you can do and get done, and then you start taking action towards those things and getting progress made, that is going to make you feel so much better. That is going to raise your energy, that is going to raise your vibration, and you are going to get into momentum. But if you never controlled your perception in the first place, you are never going to be able to move forward. Guys, with everything going on in the world right now, and I'm saying that in a very vague and general way because we are all, again, perceiving what is going on in the world in a different light, it is going to be significantly more difficult to make progress on our goals and make progress on our journeys, or it is going to be easier. And this is where the people who actually are able to control their perception will get ahead in life, because they are not letting what is going on hold them back like everybody else is. It's the same example when it comes to business. Right around fall and wintertime, business slows down. In the industries of network marketing and general businesses at all, you're not going to see somebody coming out to clean your pool during the wintertime when it's snowing. A lot of business slows down in these months, but it doesn't have to slow down. There are people who are going to fall into the hibernation effect of winter, and they're just going to not go out and prospect as much. They're not going to go out and actually make conversation. They're not going to go out and network. They're not going to try to share their business or to share their services or to share, whatever hustle they got going on. Or even if they're making music or if they're an artist, they're not going to be sharing their art as much because they're slowing down because everybody else is slowing down. Guys, this is the perfect opportunity to start speeding up. Take advantage of the circumstances that are happening. Take advantage of when people are doing, something that is actually not beneficial to their progress, right? I'm not saying take advantage of other people, but take advantage of the opportunities that occur during times such as now. It's like during this whole COVID crisis, there are some people who made a lot of money and there are other people who went broke. Think about it. Amazon positioned themselves to where their stock since the beginning of the year literally doubled. It went from $1,700 at its peak like last month or right around June and July, jumped up to $3,400. Jeff Bezos added billions of dollars to his net worth. Tesla skyrocketed. They grew to such a point where their stock had to split. Like, guys, we are at a time where it's like, again, you could either let the world control you and influence you and break you down, or you can go ahead and use it to your advantage and view the situations that occur as things that happen for you and not to you. It is all a matter of your perception of reality and the perception of the things that are going on. Take notes. go back and listen to this episode. This is something that is not just a general topic that you can learn in one single sit down. This is something that I have been constantly working on over the past couple of years. How am I perceiving my reality? How am I perceiving what is going on? Am I actually seeing it with clear eyes and a clear perspective, or am I viewing it through a kaleidoscope? Am I viewing this with jaded glasses, with jaded eyes, with eyes that have cataracts? Which lens are you viewing it from? Guys, we got one life to live. And, this is why I'm so big on personal development. It's like, if we are able to learn and become the most capable individuals we can potentially become through learning new skills, new things, viewing new perspectives, the world is at our fingertips. And that's something that I believe, that is something that I know. And with that being said, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. Like I asked at the beginning of this episode, if you got any value, make sure you share this with a friend of yours. And if you are interested in getting your personal brand up off of the ground, on and offline, you might need a little bit of guidance on how to grow it. You might be, you might not enjoy how your personal brand is looking. Hit me up, let's talk, and I would love to help you out. You can follow me on all social media at Isaac Mashman, and go to my website, isaacmashman.com. New updates coming very, very soon. Until next time, guys, much love, and always remember to chase after your vision.